Hey. So I recently did a video addressing my frustrations with the Last American Vagabond being kicked off of YouTube. And first, I want to say thanks to everyone that watched. I got some pretty good responses on there. There were some really great comments, a number of which I try my best to respond to, or at least like and show that I actually read each response. And please, by all means, respond more. There were a couple of responders that I want to call out specifically. Robert, who had a really good comment where he was clearly addressing his frustrations as well with the pandemic and the fallout from the pandemic and the way it was handled, which I said in my response to him reflects heavily on the '08 crash and how we're kind of just left in the trash of it all, right? Because I've said on a number of occasions that these things are all purposeful, in my opinion. Like unless these people are just so inept that their asses are just in their anuses up to their lungs and they can't see, and that's pretty much possible. We pretty much level that against them anyways, right? Why would you not give more consideration to the economics of the people? Why are you allowing these things to happen? Because make no mistake, they're allowing these things to happen, right? Why is your head so far up your ass, right? These are the things that we have to contend with, and I think that we should contend with and spend more energy on, rather than January 6th bull crap, rather than, this fake domestic terrorism bull crap, rather than this who's good or who's bad because they are or are not wearing masks, or they have not taken the vaccines, as if because you don't want to, again, as I said before, because you don't want to inject something in you that hasn't been fully tested, and you don't trust the system that is supposed to support you because it has not been taking care of you. You're considered an anti-vaxxer. You're not an anti-vaxxer. You're just anti-dumb shit. That's just the reality of it, right? You're not an anti-vaxxer, so don't even feed into that conversation when people are trying to level that, or when you're watching the media and they're doing it. They're addressing everything as anti-vaxxers, anti-vaxxers, anti-vaxxers. It's not anti-vax. Like, people, if you're watching this video and you are in America, most likely you went to a public school at some point in your life, most likely, and you got your vaccines, you know what I'm saying? So you could go to school, right? So you're not anti-vax, right? That's stupid. You've got kids and they got their flu shots at some point. They got all those little shots you got to get to go into pre-K and kindergarten and all of that stuff. So at what point are you an anti-vaxxer because you don't want to take something that's not been fully tested, that you can't sue the people that are half-assing it just to profit? Like, these things, right? That aside, two things came on my radar this morning. Well, they're always on my radar, but two things came to the forefront for me today that I want to kind of throw out there just a little bit, just kind of delve into just a little bit, right? Delve into. So, one, this thing with Kamala Harris going abroad to make the speech about not coming here. Isn't it funny how she sounds like that rhetoric sounds like the same rhetoric, just a few different words twisted here and there, that you heard from like the Trump administration, and at the time the media was like spinning it as if they were being super racist, right? Now, again, as always, qualifiers. Is Trump racist? Was his administration racist? I'm not getting into that right now, right? That's a never-ending debate that'll never end, right? Am I defending Trump? No, I am not. I'm just calling out the BS because that's what it's all about. That's what I'm with. So, if you were paying attention, then you remember the policies of that administration, right? If you are still paying attention, if you are still awake, then you have taken notice that this administration has, while the media will say that Biden's been turning and dropping and undoing all this crap that Trump put into place, right? Yeah, but all the truly horrible stuff that the Trump administration continued to do, because a lot of stuff was already set in place before him, right? Because these guys are all horrible. These administrations are all horrible, right? uh, these things are still set in place and they're still being acted upon. And it's crazy. I liken it to the whole Wulong lab leak theory thing, because if it was Trump, then it was bad and it was horrible, but it wasn't. The question of whether the truth of whether it was bad or horrible was not the point. It was simply a thing of, well, we want control, we want to be in control, and this guy is in the place that we want for the Democratic Party, right? For the media, it was everything is bad, everything is bad, everything is bad that Trump's doing, right? Whether we care or not, but we're going to make everybody hate him, everybody hates him, let's just go with that. That's going to get us the most ratings, right? And for the establishment power in place, and that's the real thing, the real establishment power behind the scenes, the wingtips behind the curtain, right, or the heels behind the curtain, whichever, or both. I truly believe it was more a thing of, hey, this guy is putting our dirt out there for everyone to see, and he's doing it so horribly that everybody's paying attention now. Because why? Everybody was paying attention now, which is why all of you were awoke and caring about politics all of a sudden, when before you didn't give a damn, right? So, but it's funny because so what you see now is that, and this is a perfect example of it with Kamala coming out and saying, "Don't come." Basically saying we're full, don't come, which is basically what Trump said. Like literally, Trump said we're full, which is ridiculous in itself. How is a country full? Like it's a closet or something? That's stupid. But yeah, and she's gotten some small blowback, just some small blowback. Of course, AOC jumped out there. I don't know why I'm on AOC anymore. I'm just so see, I had to crack my neck on it. I am so just. I'm so done with all of them. You know what I'm saying? Like it's trash, right? It's trash. Except for Nina Turner. I still love me some Nina Turner. I love me Nina Turner. And I love me some Tulsi Gabbard as always, right? But the rest of these cats up there, I'm just so done with them. There's no, that's a whole other guy. Next thing I start talking about who I have my media crushes on, that's not the point. The point is this. The point is this, that the media's response to Kamala's behavior, or Kamala's statements, is night and day. And save for AOC, who arguably was probably trying to just get some of her progressive card back, get some pieces of that progressive card back that got tore up and thrown away, right? It's been really bullcrap, man. Sorry, I don't have a scientific term to use there. I don't have some high-minded term. It's bullshit, really, because Kamala's doing it now, and Kamala's saying it now, so it must be okay. Just like the kids in cages thing and all of that stuff, right? And then when people go along with it, you go along with it, and you don't even. Matter of fact, you're not even going along with it. Let's be real. You're not going along with it. You're just not paying attention. You're not paying attention anymore. You don't care anymore because Trump bad, Trump gone. So who cares? And I'll be quite honest with you. I want him back. I want him back. I don't care. Call me what you want to call me. Say what you want to say. I don't care, because you cared. You cared. You didn't care correctly, but you cared more when he was there doing all that dumb, terrible shit, ridiculous bull crap. You cared more. You were watching. You were shouting. You were out there willing to fight. And it's the same stuff that's still going on, but since the scary man has gone away, you don't care anymore. So now we're going down the toilet because we don't have that energy no more. No one's watching, and they're doing so much more. I say this over and over again. As a matter of fact, a lot of what I'm saying now, I've said it 1,000 times over again, to the point, which is why I stopped making the videos in the first place. I was like, how many times am I going to say the same damn thing? But God damn it, it's the truth, right? You don't care anymore, so you're not paying attention. So they can do things like throw journalists in jail, in prison. They can do things like bring down planes to take journalists and activists off of them and imprison them. They can do things like censor voices on these social media platforms, because these guys don't answer to anyone, right? They don't even really answer to Congress, and they don't answer them because they don't even know the right questions to ask in the first fucking place, right? But they don't answer to them, right? So we do need them back. We do, or someone to the liking of, right? Because it scares you enough for you to care. But then the problem is when you're caring, you're just responding or reacting out of fear. So you're not thinking critically, right? And that's the disconnect. So I guess we have to fix that. So let's act like this is a puzzle we're trying to put together right now, right? So in order for this thing to work, because the motivator is the scary man with the orange skin and the weird blonde hair that seems to flap freely in the wind. And the reason is because the country is going down the toilet, but the wealthy aren't. Remember that. They're not. We are. We are going down the toilet, and we're crossing some lines from which we're not going to be able to return. Right? There are some things going on globally, and we're not going to be able to return from these things. Right? The precedent is being set, and we are not going to be able to return from it. And they know you're not paying attention because they're doing it out in the open. They have a website. They have websites. Like they have YouTube channels. They're doing it out in the open, bro. And y'all are not paying attention. I was driving to work this morning I was driving my wife to work this morning and listening to them talk. And when Trump was in office on these stations, like, cause my wife don't want to hear the news shit. She don't hear that shit. She wants to hear the feel good stuff. She get ready for work in the morning, right? She's driving in, but even on those stations, you would hear them talking about the bull crapperty that Trump was doing, and whether they understood what they were saying, whether they understood what the coverage was really about, doesn't matter. They were talking about it, so you guys were all interested in it or pulled into it, and in some way your attention was on it. But no, we're back to talking about beef with Kaya and some other YouTube personality because somebody said something horrible about somebody else's kids and blah, 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 blah. Stupid shit. Dumb shit. It's dumb shit. It's dumb shit. Like, why does that even matter? Like, it doesn't, yeah, it matters to that particular parent or that particular kid, but why does it matter to you? Like, you got a whole bunch of other shit going on right now. Why are you looking for distractions from, like, if the car is getting ready to crash, you want to be distracted from that, or you want to figure a way to stop the crash or get out of the car or something? I don't know. So back to the puzzle. We'll have to find a way so that the motivating factor, which is the fear of the orange monster, right, doesn't it does awaken you and garner your attention, but it doesn't make it so much. It doesn't cause you to freak out so much so that you're not paying attention to what's important, which is the reason, because they are fucking draining us of everything. They're draining us of everything: our dignity, our rights, our money, our ability to make money, our ability to gain wealth, our ability to pass wealth on to our kids that coming after us. This whole nation debt bullshit is a lie. It's a lie. It's a lie. Like the debt's growing. It's growing. It's growing. No, it is growing, but their concern for it is a lie. We have a rent-seek structure here. So everything is based on debt. I would gather they are happy about it. They're just telling you that it's horrible. Conservatives mainly, right? Because then you have to take up the narratives they're spinning for you about how horrible spending is. But ask this question, and this question, the structure of this question can be applied when reasoning out all of this shit, right? The debt is so bad. The debt is so horrible. The debt is so horrible. It's so terrible. It's so terrible. And it's sucking the life out of our children's futures, right? Why then do you keep increasing it with maximum spending on defense when we have no competitors when it comes to defense? When we have no real enemies except for the enemies that we are making and creating, right? Why don't you chop that down a bit? And I'm not talking about soldier salaries. We know you're not. We're not talking about soldier salaries. We're talking about all that money that you're pushing into the pockets of contractors and all kinds of other dumb shit, right? I ain't talking about contractors like, the guy that's working on the shift. No, I'm talking about the owners of these companies, the investors, right? Those kind of deals. Why not cut down some of that? You dig what I'm saying? Why not cut back those tax cuts, those tax breaks? Why not tax these social media companies and these tech companies who are like seeing levels of wealth like never seen before? You know what I'm saying? Why not tap into that? Why do something minuscule like say we're going to cut unemployment benefits, or we're going to go after Social Security because they're planning for that. We're gonna these stupid things, these little minuscule things. We're gonna not invest in our roads, in our infrastructure, which in the long term creates even more problems, which means it creates even more debt. Why allow these investment companies to buy up all of the housing and increase the rental the rental prices so that people can't afford to live? Why allow all of those things? Why allow these monopolies? Why allow those things if you really care about the debt so much? So when you look at what they're doing in response to what they say they are afraid of, that lets you know the true sense of urgency that they place on that thing. You see what I'm saying? And if it does not balance out, that lets you know it's bullshit. So, see, you don't even got to be all extra smart. I ain't the smartest person. You don't got to be extra smart. Look, here it is. Horrible problem. Bullshit solution. You must not care. You see what I'm saying? That's easy. That's cut and dry. That's what it comes down to. So if we can manipulate the mindset of the people in a good way, not the negative way that the media is doing, then possibly if we got the fear factor, it don't even got to be the orange man. It could be something else. I don't know. It could be anything else. Like, for instance, that you're not going to be able to buy homes, or for instance, that the cost of living is increased exponentially, or for instance, that you're seeing the government, your local government, work in tandem with business to force you into the workers' marketplace with less benefit. These kind of things, right? Those kind of things could be, any of those things could be something that scares you. Or you could go with climate change. I don't know, whatever the freaks, right? But something that motivates you to care, but at the same time, maintain some common sense and look at things rationally and reasonably, so that you don't get duped, right, by like Don Lemon and his crew and the like, right? So then you think that, it's something stupid, or it's your neighbor. And that's the next thing I want to touch on before I wrap this thing up, right? So, and I'll keep on hitting on these things. Like, that's because, let's be real, these are the core items to discuss, and all the other ways that we talk about it are just different means to an end, because the end still comes back to these main pillars, right? Your neighbor, they're making you hate your neighbor so that they can maintain power. So you love the elite, you love the rich, you love the wealthy, you love the system, or you're at least in fear of that system, so you maintain some sense of loyalty to it, even at the risk of your own well-being, which in this case, to this point, is your neighbor. Because if we don't get along, or if we can't communicate, then we can never come together to protect each other, or at least, or I guess most importantly, to stop them. And there is a them. We all agree on that. Even when we say, "Oh, they ain't gonna never let Bernie Sanders get in office, I'm gonna go vote for old Biden." Who's the they? That's the them. That's what I'm saying, right? So your fear of your neighbor because your neighbor is not wearing a mask, or because your neighbor is a Republican, or because your neighbor is a Democrat. That's dumb shit. There's no other way to put it. That's dumb shit. Let's not even play. I don't even want to play the highbrow stuff. It's dumb shit. Like, it's dumb as hell, right? The idea that you can't have a conversation with somebody because they don't agree with you, that's dumb as shit. You do it every day when you talk to your family, your friends, or your loved one, your wife, or whatever the case is, right? So what are you talking about? Why do you have to cancel everybody because they don't agree with you? Like, that's dumb shit. Why even? And you'll never be able to control anyone else's thoughts. So that's like a pointless journey to embark on, right? Like, you're not going to control my thoughts. I'm not going to control your thoughts, right? And you wouldn't want me to, right? Why wouldn't you want me to? Why would you not want me to control your thoughts? Because that's who you are. That's what makes you you, right? That's what the thoughts that you have, your perspective on things. your mistakes, all of these things are what lead you to be who you are and who you're going to become. Consider that at this time, they are working to control your thoughts. That's what this is all about, right? So then, would that not mean that they are trying to affect who you are and who you become? Yeah, I see no other way to look at that. I see no other way to look at that. Now, I'm not the smartest cat. I'm not the smartest cat. I'm not the sharpest pencil in the box, but I can damn connect some dots and make some lines, right? Pretty good line. I'm a pretty good artist. So, no, check my portfolio. My line work is pretty tight. But I'm just saying that seems to be the purpose of all of this, and I don't know how we avoid this. And forgive me, this is maybe a slight ramble, or might be a maximum ramble, but who cares? Whatever. Go fuck. I don't know how we come out of this because y'all are not paying attention. Now don't get me wrong, because there's a good group of y'all. Obviously, you watched that last video, you watched this video, you watched my other videos, you're watching many videos, you're out there, you're pissed off, you're online trying to figure out how you're gonna feed your kids and all of this shit. So people are paying attention more and more, but you just gotta connect the dots is what we gotta do though. That's the problem, that's the disconnect. We have to connect these dots. Case in point. Here's an example of not connecting dots, right? So there's a show I listen to in the morning, Fault Lines, right? I love the show. Whether it pisses me off or not, I listen to the show, right? Whether I agree with what they say that day or not, I listen to the show. It's part of my morning routine, right? And the one guy on the show, one of the guys on the show, one brother on the show, he's doing his thing this morning, and he's going on as he has in the past about Trump and the Republicans who swear their allegiance to Trump over this whole the big lies the media's calling it, but over the whole election thing, right? And so Trump's argument, his people's argument is, because I don't know if you've seen the speech that Trump did here recently, I think in North Carolina or whatever, where he talked about this will go down in history as the biggest crime in history, the election deal, right? And so then what the media does, what all the powers that be does, what all the outside forces does, I'm jumping off of the show that Cat's comments and I'm going into my point now. What they do is they have inject this thought, whereas if you are challenging the elections, the outcome of the elections, or you don't believe in the outcome of the election, then you don't believe in democracy, or you are challenging America and blah, 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 right? Even more so important, you're with them. You are with them. You are with the conservatives, the Republicans, the Trump Republicans, and that means that you're racist. And you ain't got your vaccinations, and you ain't wearing no masks. And you're a domestic terrorist if you simply don't trust in the elections. Here's the dots that don't get connected, right? This has got levels to it. First and foremost, I have to say this. The Republicans are making this argument, those who choose to ride with Trump, right, and Trump's people, they're making this argument the elections were fraudulent. Correct. However, the means by which they are leveling these accusations is stupid. You should have said, why? Because here's the deal. They know it's not correct. They know it's fraudulent. This whole system is full of shit, right? It's full of shit. We all know it's full of shit, right? The analogy is that touching on the radio show again, the guy Jamal Thomas, Progressive Soapbox, is his YouTube channel. You should check him out. Fault Lines is the show. You check them out on YouTube as well. And Radio Sputnik. The point that he makes is that we're playing a game that we have all with decided rules that we've all decided to play by. Stop. Drop that show there. Drop his point there, because I'm not addressing him. I'm using that as a means by which to get to my point, right? We have not agreed to play to these rules. We have not. We're being made to play by these rules, but we know it's all fucked off. We know it's all bullshit. We know inside our cores that it's not real. So no, they're not established rules that we all agree to. We're being made to play by these rules that they don't even fucking subscribe to. Here's the kicker. Here's the kicker. Cat's out of the bag. Okay? The reality is they're not playing by those rules. The rules have changed. The rules have changed. And what you have is Trump having the balls, although stupidly, having the balls to say, fuck that. Like, the rules changed. I'm not playing by those rules. I don't gotta fucking submit. Why I gotta submit? We all know this is bullshit. Now, again, the bullshit is that the truth of the matter is, if you really wanted to be honest about the elections and what was fucking them up and what was wrong about them and blah, 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 then you would deal with election integrity. You would deal with protecting the ballots, paper ballots are supposed to get introduced. Those type things, right? Not this crap about standing in line and water bottles and delivery pizza and crap like that. You would deal with the way that they rig these areas, right? So that certain groups will always be safe when they're running as Republicans or Democrats in these areas. You would deal with all of those things. You would deal with the Dominion server and all of that stuff, right? Also, you've heard sprinkled with conspiracy theory a little bit to make you think it's all just foolishness. It's not foolishness. That's the meat and potatoes right there. But they know that's the meat and potatoes. That's that line that they dare not cross. That's why Bernie didn't say nothing when he got it stolen from him. He ain't got no balls. Trump had the balls to challenge, right? But he does not have the balls to go so far as to lay out the truth of the matter when it comes to how fucked our elections are, how rigged it is. He's doing the, I don't know, that bullshit they always talk about with the, I don't know, that crap. Let me ask you a question. The election is faulty going in. You know it's false going in. It was a fucking Times article on how the Democrats stole their fucking election from Bernie, right? If the elections are bullshit going in, what does it matter if Trump's got some stupid excuse about some stupid thing? What does it matter if that's the reason that they're introducing? We all know it's bullshit. We all know it's bullshit. They know it's bullshit. What does it matter what the reason is that he says when you know? Like, the car is crashing into a fucking brick wall. What does it matter if it's crashing because the front left tire came out or the front right tire came out, or it's the truth that we know it was the engine fucking fell out, right? It's crashing, right? So why then do you try to protect that system? Because you hope to benefit from it, or because you really don't want change? Those are the dots that we would have to connect. You dig what I'm saying? So I hope that wasn't too like meta or whatever. I don't know. But it's the truth of the matter. Like, so ask yourself, like, do you really believe, not whether Biden won or Trump lost, do you really believe that the elections themselves were done in a clear and honest manner? Because if you got to stand in line all day, that's already wrong, right? If the media is shoving in your face one particular candidate and then running whole smear campaigns on other candidates, it's already false. You know what I'm saying? You've got countries where people get to get off. Voting day is a holiday. We're supposed to be the richest country on earth, right? But they create all kinds of hurdles for the vote, right? So it's already false. If CNN is hosting the debates and certain candidates can't get on the debates because they feel a certain kind of way, right? Or because they want to introduce things to the people, meaning the candidate, so CNN doesn't cover them or doesn't let them onto the debates, then the election is already rigged from the beginning. So why then talk about Trump being the one who's bringing down democracy or destroying democracy? And I wager this, and this will be the last point I make because this thing's gotten long. January 6th, people talk about if it was black people out there, Black Lives Mattering it would have been a whole different thing and people would have got shot up and all this kind of shit. It's not the question to ask. That's the superficial question to ask. Look, we know what's up already with that. We don't even got to ask that fucking question. Because why? Because the goddamn people was getting killed in the first fucking place, sitting inside the fucking car, reaching for the wall like the cops told them to reach for it, and then they shot them, right? So we already know what that is. We live in a country that was born out of slavery. So we know what that is. Like, built from slavery. We know what that is. We know what that is. We don't need to fucking, pontificate on what it would have been if Black Lives Matter would have been out there. No, that's not the question. The real question is this. What if that day, January 6th, it was all us, black, white, Chinese, whatever the fuck you, whatever, right? Conservatives, liberals, independents, I don't know, bottles of water, I don't know, mouse-ticians, whatever the fuck was out there. And we were all shouting and we were all saying, we are tired of you guys not doing your job. You are destroying our country. You are stealing our elections so you can continue to profit yourself. What if it was all of us out there doing that at that time? What if it was a Bernie Sanders or a Tulsi Gabbard or a Marianne Williamson or whoever at the forefront, or Jill Stein at the forefront saying, no, enough is a fuck enough. Y'all stole this thing and we're not going to continue to do this. We're not going to continue to allow this. How would you feel about January 6th then? Would you cover it as a push attempt? Would you cover it as, the end of democracy, right? Or would you say, God damn it, that's us getting justice? I don't know. Which I'm willing to bet that if it was Bernie Sanders out there, yeah, I'll go with Bernie Sanders because more people will like him, or less afraid of him than Tulsi Gabbard, although I'm Tulsi Gabbard. I'm Tulsi all the way, right? If it was Bernie's old ass out there, with that fist up, saying, I wrote the damn bill, I bet you we would have a whole different look on it then. So, I don't know. Those are the dots that we got to connect, man. This has been a long thing. I'm going to stop it right here. Thanks for watching. I'll just keep on making them until I stop making them. All right.